Good afternoon, friends and family. As you know, the love of my life passed away a few weeks ago. He actually took his last breath on his mother's birthday. What a wonderful reunion. Anyway, I wanted this to be a testimony instead of a story because Charles actually had a wonderful testimony. I met him when I was 15. He was my first love. I met him when he worked at a daycare center. I met him before Prodigy, before all the women, went gaga over him. The innocence of that love was so beautiful. And it carried 45 years. And I'm very grateful for all of these years. There's lots of love, lots of heartache, some of the best times of my life, and some of the worst. But, anyways, I just wanted to share with you that this is based upon my feelings and my relationship with him. And the truth is that Charles lived in two worlds. He lived in the world of his mom, and he lived in the world of his dad. His mom, she brought great love and affection, and she was a beautiful woman. She brought music and warmth, and she brought sunshine, and I loved her so much. And but unfortunately, there were other things from that household. Lots of partying, lots of you know things that wasn't good for kids or the family. But she had Jesus in her life as well. And she brought that to them too. It was just different than the type that he experienced with his dad. She actually took me to see Marlon Lefebvre, so that I remember that so well because I didn't have Christ in my life very much at that time. And then Pops, he brought discipline, and he brought love as well, and strength, and he brought a different, way of spirituality. But neither was wrong. They both loved Charles, and he loved them. And with him came Mama Vicky and Paige and Tina and Pops. And for that, it's the most beautiful, wonderful thing that he has left me. And, we can't forget Bobby, because Bobby was a great friend. He was a great stepfather. He taught Charles a lot. And I called him Uncle Bobby. But he was very special to Charles and the family. So we cannot forget about him. And Mama Vicky, she fixed my hair for my prom. Me and Paige went to it together. Mama Vicky was in, my early life. I reconnected at a later time and went and hung a swing for her. And she always knew my love for Charles, for sure. And I got to see her right before she passed. She actually passed a week before my dad. So losing both of them in the same month was really incredibly hard. And then I lost my nephew, actually both my nephews. Life got a little bit more difficult then for both of us. He ended up losing his son, Ryan. I love Ryan. I didn't know his younger children as well. But I know that he was a great dad. He loved his kids. Oh, he loved his grandkids. And we talked a lot about them. Um, you know, whenever I was 17, Charles called me up and he was like, I need to come and talk to you. And I'm like, okay, sure, come on. I had no clue what he was coming to tell me. But just getting to see him was enough for me. And he came and he's like, Sonia, I've gotten Shelly pregnant. And, as hard as it was like we both knew that Charles had to do what was right. He had to marry her. He had to become a dad, a husband. And being young, it throws a lot of curveballs. It's very difficult. And unfortunately, that relationship didn't survive. After that, I saw him once again, and throughout these 45 years, he came in and out of my life quite a bit. And I always let him back in because for me, it was about true love. It was about, like, I never stopped loving him. It was about, even though he went on, and I did as well with other relationships, he was one that I never stopped loving. The other men in my life, I loved them. I was able to make amends and go on. But with Charles, he was always in my heart. He was always there. And I could never not be in his life. In the end, the past few years, I had to love him from afar, but I did. And anyways, I get sidetracked, and I'm sorry. I actually have tried to make this video several times, but wasn't able to because I would get sidetracked. So I would like to go back to when he married the second time. Sometimes months or years would pass, and I called him up one day, and I think it was his birthday. I usually tried to contact him every year on his birthday, and he was like, Sonia, he's like, I'm married. And I was like, oh, okay, And so, congratulations, although it tore my heart out. And he went on to have a son by her, Austin. And then they had problems, and he reached back out to me. And then they ended up having twins. And after that, he reached back out to me again. And then he married once again. And he married Paige's best friend. And that was difficult to find out as well. But, all I ever wanted was Charles to be happy. When you really love someone, you want them to be happy no matter who they're with. You want them to... you want them to find, I guess, what you don't have. And I have to say that Kim was like the answer to his prayers. She was his lifesaver. I don't really know none of his wives. I just know them through Charles. I just know them from what he shared with me. And I do know he cherished that marriage greatly, and I know she helped raise his kids. After his marriage with his second wife, we tried to get back together. And at that time, I had 4 kids. I had 3 sons and 1 daughter, and he had 5 sons. And I was like, 9 kids? I was like, I grew up with 8 kids, but 9 kids and one daughter. So at that time, I was the one to decline the relationship. And that's why I think when he found Kim, I was so happy. I was like, yes, the answer to his prayers. And unfortunately, that relationship didn't work out either. But I can tell you, I had contacted him during that time in his life, and he was very frank and honest. Hey, Sonia, I don't want to do anything to mess up this relationship. So if you'll contact Tina and talk to her, and I did. And so Tina became a best friend of mine through the later years. And I cherish that friendship as well as I do Paige's. Like I said, Charles brought me the love of his family. That's his legacy. That's what he's left. And the last year that Charles came in my life was when Ryan passed away. And it was a total different relationship. It was about friendship. It was about God. It was about spirituality. It was about recovery. It was about pain. It was about truth. Me and Charles rode his bike a lot. Actually, I didn't really trust no one but him to ride the bike with. Maybe one other person. And but anyways, that was a beautiful summer. Beautiful. Me and Charles, we went to church together. We shared COVID. We shared beautiful bike rides. Every weekend together. We shared his pops, his dad. And I love his dad. His dad became my dad. His dad is an inspiration to me. Like I said, I had Mama Vicky in the early part of my life, and I had Pops in the later part. And, it was so funny watching Charles around his dad. It's like he became a little boy. It's like he wanted to please his dad so much and do things for his dad. And it was so awesome watching that. And, that summer, me, Charles, and Miss Ann, we spent many, many nights praising and worshiping and staying up till all wee hours of the night, singing gospel music. And it was just a really, really special, wonderful time for me. And I will always cherish, always. But unfortunately, that year was a lot of loss. I lost my job. I lost a business adventure. But worst of all, I lost my brother. My brother was so special, and he was everything to me. But you know what? He was the love of the Lord. He was the light of God. And as hard as it was also wonderful, because I know I will see him as I will Charles. But in that loss, all those losses affected me. I mean, it really did. And the truth of it is, it seemed to take a few years for it all to come out. But during that time, Charles did break my heart again. But this time, it wasn't over the same things as before. Because I knew God had a different path for us. And I knew that this was God's way of telling me that I had to let him go, and that he was taking us down different roads. And as hard as it was, I knew that it was the best thing for both of us. And I wrote down the message that he wrote me. And I need this to share with you because it's a part of his wonderful testimony. It's a part of our testimony. He says, he goes, I want to offer a formal apology for the way I treated you and handled our relationship. I feel like I never did that. I deceived you. I broke your trust. And regardless of what I was going through, I owed you honesty. You always loved me and offered your whole heart. My entire family loved you, and I hate that I've made it hard for you to continue these relationships on some level. I'm sorry for taking advantage of your gentle kindness and love. Charles. Then he wrote me again. He says, in a lot of ways, I don't think I can ever atone for the wreckage, the short or the long-term damage I have brought to you. But I do try each day to become the man God wants me to be. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not where I used to be. So I will take this progress and try to grow more tomorrow and every day. Sorry. So you see, last week, whenever I went to his funeral, it came to me that he fulfilled his destiny. He made up for everything because he did what he said he would do. He became a better man. He helped those that he knew that faced some of the same challenges that he had. He reached out to many. He did it through his love of music. He did it with his heart. And although he couldn't piece back some of the broken pieces of his own life, as we all know, those of us that are broken too, the best way to do it is by helping others. So as you see, by him helping others who struggle with some of the same issues he had, he loved on them. He offered his heart, and he offered the best way he could to become a better person. And I'm proud of him, and I love him, and I always will. But I have great faith that I will see him once again. And it will be with open arms. And how funny. That was my song to him since I was 15 years old. And this Friday, I'm going to see a tribute band to Journey. And I will sing, and I will cry, and I will remember. I'll remember me and Paige listening, sitting on the sidewalk, listening to Journey and us wah, 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 about whoever we might be with. But I'm very grateful for this 45-year relationship. And although when that call came, it was very hard. Not only for my heartache, but for Paige and Tina and Pops and all his family, his kids, his grandkids, the things he would miss in this life. But more awesome was that he met his mom on her birthday. And for that, I love. Charles, this is not goodbye, because I know we will see each other again, and it will be with open arms, because you might have been my first love, but now you're my brother in Christ. Love you.